Welcome back to Secrets Behind the Stars, the place where we take you straight into the pulse of the most unexpected behind-the-scenes moments in Turkish entertainment. Before we dive into today's breathtaking story, make sure you're subscribed, tap that like button, and if you want to support our community, hit join for exclusive extras you won't see anywhere else. Elçin Sangu's name has been everywhere these last few days, and not just because of her recent, candid reflections about boundaries, trust, and navigating fame. What truly set the internet ablaze was an incident on the set of a new romantic series shooting in Istanbul, a project that has quietly stirred anticipation for months. The moment everyone's talking about? A kiss with her co-star Barış Arduç, scripted, yes, but performed with such soul and conviction that even hardened crew members stood frozen after the director called cut. The scene took place in a meticulously reconstructed cafe in the Galata district, where the production design team had crafted warm amber lights, worn wood counters, and the faint clink of cups to carry the feel of late-night Istanbul. The setup was simple. The two characters, after circling around unspoken truths, finally let the tension break. It started with that quiet stillness, the eye contact that lingers and grows heavier with every heartbeat. Then the slow closing of distance, the hesitation of a breath caught in the throat, and finally the kiss, heavy with emotion and disarming in its authenticity. For a few long seconds after the director ended the take, no one moved. The camera operator kept his eye to the viewfinder, the boom hovered, grips paused mid-step. The cafe set felt like a real room, with real people, experiencing something they weren't supposed to see. It was on the call sheet, nothing off the cuff, a lighting technician confided while coils of cable rested in his hands, but the way they connected, we forgot the rigs were running. It felt like watching real life sneak onto the screen. What made this moment resonate so powerfully wasn't luck, or some chance rush of adrenaline. It was the culmination of a demanding preparation process that, according to insiders, pushed Elçin to stretch and refine her craft. An internationally renowned creative coach has been at her side throughout the production, popping into frame-side corners between takes to guide her through breath work, sensory recall, and a daily practice of character journaling. Those journals, filled with notes on music cues, imagined childhood memories for her character, and the emotional weather of each scene, functioned as a bridge, allowing her to blend internal truth with the rhythm of the script. Those present say the coach's approach is both exacting and gentle. He knows when to align posture and when to ask the actor to breathe deeper, when to invite tears and when to push them away. For Elçin, the timing of this project intersects with her own reflections off-screen, the very interviews where she acknowledged how vulnerability can be harnessed without losing oneself. That alignment, personal clarity channeled into professional focus, gave the role a resonance that felt strikingly present during that cafe sequence. On set, despite the weight of the moment, professionalism ruled. As whispers of a supposed off-screen spark began to trickle onto social media, the coach remained composed. He watched the playback, nodded appreciatively, and then stepped toward his student with a quiet smile. "Good," he murmured, barely above the hum of the monitors, "now let the breath settle. Stay anchored." It was a tiny, deliberate gesture, supportive but disciplined, recognizing effort while never collapsing the wall between art and life. When the clip finally hit the internet, it wasn't because the production released it. It came from a grainy phone capture of the control room monitor. A few seconds of high-contrast footage, a whisper of voices, the red tally light reflecting in the glass. The leak climbed the algorithm's ladder in minutes. Within hours, timelines were awash with the same loop, eyes meeting across a table, a tentative lean, fingers curling into a sleeve, and that kiss that seemed to carry a whole conversation. Hashtags exploded. Hashtag Elçin Barış surged to the top, joined by hashtag Kiss on Set and a chorus of fan edits that stitched the new footage with memories of their previous on-screen collaborations. The audience split into two passionate camps, those who read the moment as proof that their on-screen electricity is simply the mirror of something real, and those who saw it as a testament to craft at its highest level, the kind of disciplined performance that can make fiction feel indistinguishable from truth. "It looked like a confession," one viewer wrote beneath a looping clip. "But I think it's the rare kind of acting that turns technique into heart." That's their gift. If you have followed them for years, none of this would surprise you. Barış and Elçin have always had a uniquely charged screen presence, what fans sometimes call a language without words. They're known for finding microbeats in a scene, the slight tilt of a head, the hitch of a laugh, the split-second smile that only makes sense between two people who understand each other at a level just beyond words. That synergy can be a double-edged sword. The clearer it is on camera, the easier it is for speculation to run wild. As the video rocketed across platforms, neither star fed the frenzy. Elçin, whose recent interviews focused on prioritizing her work and drawing clean lines between public and private, stayed silent. People close to her reinforced the message: she is immersed in the set's long hours and chooses to keep her intimate life out of the comments section. Barış also kept a low profile. The only acknowledgement he offered was a photograph from the cafe set. Steam curling from a coffee cup, script pages positioned just out of focus, with a short caption beneath, "Where stories come alive." No tags, no winks, no coy emojis. It was as if he knew that anything more would ignite another day's worth of headlines. Inside the industry, the chorus sounded almost unanimous. What happened on that set was a rare alignment of technique and trust. Critics described the moment as a masterclass in calibrating energy, letting silence do the heavy lifting, and finding the truth that lives between lines of dialogue. Some went further, calling it one of the defining romantic beats of the season, an example of how a well-prepared performance can blur the line between what's scripted and what feels spontaneous. There's a reason that Kiss resonated so deeply. Beyond the chemistry that everyone can see, it revealed the machinery that audiences aren't meant to notice: the warm-ups at dawn, the repeated takes with minuscule adjustments, the conversations about character motives that stretch late into the evening. It showed the discipline that holds the intensity in place so it doesn't spill over where it shouldn't. And it reminded people why, when the right two actors meet the right scene, even a set built by human hands can momentarily feel like a living room where something personal is unfolding. According to unit insiders, that day's schedule was unforgiving. The kissing scene came after multiple setups in which the characters skirted around a confession. The pacing required a slow burn, a sense that each line nudged them closer to an edge neither wanted to acknowledge. Between takes, Elçin returned to her journal, jotting down small anchors, images, sounds, the word of the day, that would keep her grounded. Barış paced the corridor of the studio, earbuds in, marking the beats with small gestures only he seemed to recognize. When they stepped back onto the mark, it was as if both had agreed to the same secret tempo. The director, a veteran with an eye for restraint, resisted the temptation to overcut. He let the shot breathe, holding on faces, saving the wide frame for the aftermath. The kiss itself wasn't long. It didn't have to be. It was the lead-up and the silence after, the breath that catches, the almost audible realization of having crossed a threshold, that landed the punch. Online, the frenzy took on a life of its own. Fan accounts lined up screenshots side by side with earlier projects, tracing patterns and echoes. Some posted long threads arguing that true-to-life emotion doesn't require a real-life entanglement, it requires trust, safety, and exquisite timing. Others, fueled by the intoxicating possibility that art might be reporting on life in real time, spun theories that only added to the buzz. Through it all, the production stayed opaque. No clarifications, no denials, no official comment about the leak. The silence, deliberate or not, only amplified the moment. And yet, if you look past the clip and listen to those who were on the floor that day, a consistent story emerges. The coach clapped once after the take, a soft, proud sound that cut through the stillness. He leaned in and, according to a nearby crew member, whispered to Elçin a reminder that she'd done the work and to keep her breath steady. Barış, standing just out of frame as notes were toggled, gave a small nod that read like a silent promise: "I'm here, we've got this." It's the sort of working partnership that invites longing in audiences because it is built on something sturdier than rumor, it's built on discipline. Meanwhile, critics spent the weekend dissecting the scene. One commentator marveled at how the pair leveraged negative space, the physical gap before the kiss, as a storytelling tool. Another praised the way they used eye contact to build subtext, calling it a dialogue of glances, more eloquent than any monologue could be. Several noted that the moment did not rely on melodrama. No sweeping score until the end, no grand gestures. Just two performers who trust each other enough to do less. Fans, of course, want answers. Was it only a beautifully executed kiss inside a performance, or a spark that slipped past the velvet rope? That question is part of the allure, and part of the frustration. The beauty of this pairing is that it thrives in the in-between. Their body language on screen has long suggested a shorthand built up over years, and that familiarity can easily be mistaken for something else. Or perhaps it is something else, translated into the language of craft and shared with an audience that knows how to read between frames. What cannot be disputed is the impact. The clip spawned think pieces and video breakdowns. Trends surged and receded. And by the start of the week, a consensus emerged among those who look at acting as an art form. The kiss was a high-wire act, perfectly balanced between authenticity and restraint. It was, in other words, what happens when two leads bring their full selves to a scene and trust that the frame will hold them. So where does this leave us? With a memory loop through countless timelines, with questions that may never earn an answer, and with a renewed excitement for what this project might deliver when it finally lands on our screens. One scene, a few seconds long, has already written itself into the season's mythology. Whether you attribute that to chemistry, craft, or a blend of both, it's hard to argue with the spell it cast. Tell us what you think. Was that kiss between Elçin Sangu and Barış Arctic nothing more than a moment of fiction executed at the highest level, or did you catch a flicker of something real at the edges? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and let us know which other stars you want us to cover in upcoming videos. We at Secrets Behind the Stars thank you for watching and for being part of this community. Don't forget to subscribe, hit like, and, if you want to go a step further, support the channel by clicking join. Stay tuned, there are more revelations on the way from the hidden corners of Turkish entertainment, and we'll be here to bring them to you first.